Over the last few years, some of the biggest names in the truck world have released models plagued with catastrophic issues. We're talking slipping transmissions, engine blowouts, failing electronics, and quality so bad it will leave you questioning the badge on the hood. Everyday drivers and people who trusted these brands got stuck with constant repairs and shocking bills instead. Because a pickup truck is not just transportation, it is an investment. And making the wrong choice today could leave you with a worthless hunk of metal tomorrow. These are the pickups you should avoid, no matter how good they look on the outside. Chevrolet Colorado. At first glance, the Chevrolet Colorado looks like the ideal midsize truck. But beneath the surface, this truck has become a ticking time bomb for many owners. The appeal may be strong, but the reality of owning a Colorado can be a wallet-draining experience, filled with frustrating mechanical failures and alarming reliability issues. Let us begin with the transmission, which should be the heartbeat of any work-ready pickup. In the Chevrolet Colorado, however, it is more like a stumbling block. Drivers across the country have reported transmission delays, sluggish gear changes, and even full-on slipping, especially in models produced since the year 2019. These are not isolated cases. The number of complaints has skyrocketed, with some owners reporting near-miss situations when the truck fails to accelerate or downshift at the right time. In a vehicle built for work and travel, that kind of hesitation is dangerous. Moving under the hood, the engine is no less troublesome. Misfires are a recurring issue, and they are not just annoying. They can lead to failed emissions tests and expensive diagnostics. Pair that with widespread reports of power steering failures, and you have a truck that can go from capable to catastrophic in the blink of an eye. When your steering cuts out at highway speeds or during a tight corner, you are not just inconvenienced, you are at risk. The problems do not end there. Chevrolet issued a massive recall for over 56,000 Colorados due to a software glitch that caused the truck's safety system to falsely detect obstacles. That triggered the emergency braking system without warning, a scenario that resulted in rear-end collisions and near accidents. Even outside of this recall, owners continue to report spongy, unreliable brakes that make driving feel more like a gamble than a routine task. And when it comes to cost, the annual repair bills can exceed $650 With a 15% chance of serious repairs per year, the Colorado quickly becomes one of the more expensive mid-size trucks to maintain. Add in the diminished resale value caused by all these known issues, and you have a vehicle that feels like a bad investment from day one. If you thought the Chevrolet Colorado was bad, the next truck might cost you more in repairs than you paid for it. Nissan Titan XD. This truck promised the durability of a heavy-duty workhorse with the drivability of a full-size pickup, all powered by a Cummins 5-liter diesel engine that was supposed to be its crowning jewel. But instead of redefining the truck segment, the Titan XD has earned a reputation as one of the most disappointing and unreliable diesel trucks of its time. It may look strong on the outside, but under the hood, it is a disaster waiting to happen. Let us start with the diesel engine, the very heart of what made the Titan XD different. That 5-liter Cummins engine sounded like a smart choice on paper, but in practice, it has become a mechanical nightmare. The exhaust gas recirculation system, also known as the EGR, is highly prone to clogging with carbon deposits. When that happens, drivers report loss of power, stalling, and check engine lights that seem permanently illuminated. And if that is not bad enough, the turbocharger is also a known weak point, frequently failing under stress. The cost of replacing one? Easily several thousand $1,000, if you can even find a mechanic familiar with the setup. And that leads us to the next problem: serviceability. Since Nissan abruptly discontinued the diesel Titan XD, support for the engine has dwindled. Dealerships have stopped stocking critical parts, and qualified technicians are hard to find. Many owners are left scrambling for independent diesel mechanics, who may or may not know how to properly diagnose or repair the issues. This lack of factory support has driven up repair times and costs, leaving many Titan XD owners feeling stranded in more ways than one. The build quality, too, leaves much to be desired. Numerous reports cite interior rattling, poor fit and finish, and even paint that chips and fades far too quickly. Recalls have included airbag malfunctions, electrical faults, and steering problems. For a truck that should inspire confidence, the Titan XD often does the exact opposite. And then comes the worst part: resale value. The Titan XD depreciates faster than nearly any other full-size truck in its class. Because of its reputation for unreliability, used models are often sold at steep discounts. and even then buyers remain hesitant. And just when you thought it could not get worse, here comes a luxury truck that is anything but luxurious under the hood. Mercedes-Benz X-Class. With the iconic three-pointed star on the grille, buyers expected premium materials, cutting-edge engineering, and bulletproof reliability. But what they got instead was a truck that fell far short of the Mercedes-Benz legacy, riddled with problems that made it feel more like a costly experiment than a durable machine. The X-Class's appeal started with its sleek, modern design and luxury-focused interior. From a distance, it certainly looked the part. The sculpted body, aggressive stance, and upscale cabin appointments gave the illusion of prestige. But as owners quickly discovered, the illusion faded fast when it came time to tow, haul, or simply rely on the truck's systems working properly. The most concerning issue: software failures in the Trailer Stability Assist system. This critical feature, designed to keep trailers from swaying at high speeds or during emergency maneuvers, has proven to be alarmingly unreliable. Owners reported frequent sensor malfunctions, glitchy warning alerts, and in some cases, complete system shutdowns while in use. Imagine hauling a trailer on the highway, only to realize the very technology meant to keep you safe has gone offline. Then there are the safety locks, the last thing anyone expects to fail in a luxury vehicle. Unfortunately, reports surfaced of rear door child locks disengaging mid-drive or refusing to stay locked altogether. For families, that kind of malfunction is not just inconvenient, it is terrifying. Underneath the surface, things do not improve. The X-Class has suffered from electrical issues that impact everything from the infotainment system to the instrument cluster. Steering components have also drawn criticism for inconsistent feedback and, in some instances, early wear that leads to looseness or vibration. Suspension complaints include premature bushing failures and poor ride quality over time, an experience far removed from the refined handling Mercedes-Benz drivers have come to expect. Even the engine, which should represent performance and dependability, has had its share of hiccups. Hesitation under throttle, rough idling, and cold start stumbles have been reported across multiple engine configurations. While these problems may seem minor at first, they accumulate into a pattern of unreliability that casts a long shadow over the brand. For many buyers, it eroded trust in a brand that once stood for excellence. But you do not have to spend big to get burned, because the next mid-size truck fails in almost every category. GMC Canyon. On paper, the GMC Canyon offers a lot: bold styling, a manageable mid-size footprint, and powertrain options that appeal to both urban drivers and off-road enthusiasts. It is marketed as the refined alternative to the Chevrolet Colorado, a slightly more upscale truck with all the same capability. But for thousands of drivers, that marketing has turned into mechanical heartbreak. The Canyon's breakdown record is long, expensive, and deeply frustrating. The biggest offender: the transmission. Owners of GMC Canyons from the model years 2018 through 2022 have reported alarming issues with gear engagement and power delivery, from torque converters that refuse to lock properly to complete transmission failures before reaching 50,000 miles. The list of complaints is growing. Some drivers describe violent shuddering, clunking, or delayed acceleration that turns every green light into a gamble. But the transmission woes are just the beginning. Some unlucky owners have experienced what can only be described as engine blowouts, catastrophic internal failures often caused by overheating or sludge buildup. These events are rarely minor. They result in total engine shutdown, towing bills, and eye-watering repair estimates that can exceed 5 figures. Many of these failures trace back to poor oil circulation or cooling issues that went undetected until it was too late. Even if your engine and transmission survive, the brake system might not. Reports of failing master cylinders, spongy brake pedals, and electronic stability control malfunctions are widespread. This is not just a nuisance, it is a safety concern. A truck that cannot stop reliably is not a truck anyone should be driving. And when owners do try to get these issues resolved, they often run into another wall: customer service. General Motors dealerships have been criticized for long wait times, delayed parts, and in some cases, dismissing customer concerns altogether. That has led to widespread frustration and a growing online community of Canyon owners sharing horror stories, from roadside breakdowns to repeated dealership visits with no resolution. Think new electric pickups are immune to these problems? Think again. The next truck is an electric vehicle, and it is already in trouble. Lordstown Endurance. This truck was pitched as the future of commercial fleet pickups, an all-electric workhorse that would combine efficiency, power, and innovation. But despite its futuristic appeal and early hype, the reality has been far less encouraging. At the heart of the problem is Lordstown Motors itself, a brand new automaker with no proven track record and more red flags than innovations. From the very beginning, the company has been dogged by serious financial instability. Mounting debts, executive shakeups, and missed investor targets have all raised troubling questions about the brand's long-term viability. Buyers are not just investing in a truck, they are placing a bet on a company that might not survive the next financial quarter. Those concerns are amplified by repeated production delays. Since its unveiling, the Endurance has struggled to meet manufacturing goals. Pre-orders have been pushed back, launch timelines missed, and early deliveries riddled with technical problems. For potential customers, this creates a frustrating level of uncertainty. If the factory cannot deliver consistent production, what happens when you need parts, repairs, or basic service down the road? And that brings us to one of the Endurance's most glaring weaknesses: support. Unlike established automakers with national dealership networks, Lordstown Motors lacks the infrastructure to offer widespread service coverage. Breakdowns become logistical nightmares. Finding qualified technicians, replacement parts, or even basic diagnostics can be a tall order. For fleet operators and private buyers alike, this makes ownership feel more like a liability than an asset. On the technology front, the Endurance promises cutting-edge innovation, but delivers a mixed bag. Some early units have been plagued by software glitches, warning lights, and charging inconsistencies. While these kinds of issues are not uncommon in new platforms, the lack of transparent solutions and follow-through makes it all the more concerning. Add to that questions about battery longevity, real-world range, and durability under load, and the truck's Endurance name starts to feel painfully ironic. And speaking of experimental trucks, here is one that tries to be a sport utility vehicle and a pickup and fails at both. Hyundai Santa Cruz. Bursting onto the automotive scene with a bold design and an even bolder mission, the Hyundai Santa Cruz aimed to redefine the compact truck segment by fusing the comfort of a sport utility vehicle with the utility of a pickup. It was positioned as a lifestyle vehicle, ideal for active urban dwellers who wanted something more adventurous than a crossover, but more manageable than a full-size truck. On paper, that concept was appealing, but in execution, the Santa Cruz has fallen flat, plagued by mechanical issues, quality concerns, and confusing identity problems. The primary issue lies in the drivetrain, where multiple reports have surfaced of transmission failures and sluggish gear engagement. Owners have described alarming situations where the vehicle hesitates when shifting from park to drive, or takes several seconds to respond during highway acceleration. In more serious cases, complete transmission failure has occurred within the first 20,000 miles, leading to expensive repairs and weeks without a functioning vehicle. For a truck designed around active lifestyles and freedom, these kinds of delays are deal breakers. Under the hood, the problems continue. Engine overheating has become a notable concern, often tied to faulty cooling systems or defective temperature control units. When these components fail, the engine can rapidly overheat, causing warped cylinder heads, loss of power, and in extreme cases, complete engine rebuilds. These repairs are not only costly but often unexpected, leaving owners feeling blindsided by a vehicle they assumed would be dependable. And if poor performance was not enough, the Santa Cruz also falters in the braking department. Several drivers have reported premature wear on brake pads and rotors, while others have experienced anti-lock braking system failures. The anti-lock braking system, also known as the ABS, is a critical safety feature, and its unreliability raises serious concerns. In emergency situations, hesitation or total failure from the braking system could be catastrophic. Beyond the mechanical issues, the Santa Cruz suffers from a range of electrical problems that affect everything from the infotainment system to the exterior lighting. Complaints of system crashes, frozen touchscreens, unresponsive audio controls, and flickering headlights are becoming increasingly common. These tech frustrations further diminish the truck's appeal, especially for buyers drawn to its modern image. But maybe you expected more from an icon. Unfortunately, even a fan favorite is falling short: Toyota Tacoma. Once hailed as the gold standard in the midsize pickup category, the Tacoma is now facing widespread backlash. And it all starts with what should be its most dependable feature, the transmission. The automatic transmission in the 2023 Tacoma has become a source of consistent complaints. Instead of the smooth, responsive shifting Toyota has long been known for, drivers are experiencing clunky transitions between gears, hesitation when accelerating, and even complete failures within the first few thousand miles. Imagine driving off the dealership lot in your brand new truck, only to feel every gear shift as a jarring event. That is not just disappointing, it is unacceptable from a brand with Toyota's reputation. But it does not stop there. Under the hood, the Tacoma's engine is raising concerns too. Owners have reported knocking noises at idle, poor throttle response, and intermittent power loss under load. In some cases, warning lights appear without explanation, hinting at deeper engine management issues. The engine is supposed to be the beating heart of the Tacoma. Instead, it is sounding alarms. Inside the cabin, the problems continue. What once was a straightforward, hard-wearing interior has now become a rattle-prone mess. Owners frequently report loose seatbelt fittings, buzzing dashboards, and cabin noise that makes long drives exhausting. For a vehicle priced at over $40,000 United States dollars in some trims, that kind of build quality simply does not add up. Technology is also an area where the Tacoma falls flat. The infotainment system, already behind the curve in previous years, now feels completely outdated. The interface is clunky, slow to respond, and difficult to navigate compared to what rivals are offering. And despite the rising bar for tech in trucks, the 2023 Tacoma still lacks features that come standard in far less expensive competitors. The most troubling part? This decline in quality is not an isolated event. Forums and review platforms are filled with similar reports, suggesting systemic issues rather than bad luck. Toyota's once impeccable reputation for reliability is now in question, and buyers are starting to notice. And if you thought that was a letdown, this next legendary truck has its own mechanical meltdown in disguise. Ford F-150. Once celebrated for its power, the F-150 engine has now earned a reputation as one of the most problematic power plants in modern truck history. The core issue? Oil sludge. The 5.4-liter Triton is known for developing severe sludge buildup due to narrow oil passages and poor internal design. Even when owners follow recommended service intervals, the engine can still fall victim to oil gelling, blocking critical passages and starving components of lubrication. This isn't just a maintenance oversight, it's a design flaw that can result in total engine failure. And it gets worse. One of the most well-known catastrophes with the Triton engine is spark plug blowout. This engine uses a two-piece spark plug design that often seizes in the cylinder head. When removal is attempted, the plugs can break apart, or worse, launch out of the engine completely. The cost of repair? Hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, depending on the damage. But the nightmare does not end there. Head gasket leaks are another recurring problem, allowing coolant to seep into the engine and cause further internal damage. Combine that with frequent transmission issues, including delayed shifting, rough engagement, and outright failure, and you have a truck that feels more like a ticking time bomb than a reliable daily driver. Forums and social media are filled with stories from F-150 owners who feel betrayed by Ford's lack of accountability. Many have reported needing full engine rebuilds before even hitting the 50,000-mile mark, a terrifying prospect for any truck owner. Some drivers have even offloaded their trucks at a loss just to escape the endless repairs and expenses. And perhaps the most painful part, the F-150 still holds strong resale numbers, meaning unsuspecting buyers continue to inherit the problems without knowing what they are getting into. That 5.4-liter Triton engine may look strong on paper, but in the real world, it is a masterclass in mechanical disappointment. High maintenance needs, unreliable design, sky-high repair costs. For a truck that promises durability and pride, the F-150 with the Triton engine delivers stress and regret instead. And just when you think it cannot go lower, our next truck proves even modern tech cannot fix poor foundations. Ford Ranger. Beneath the bold marketing and strong badge of this truck lies a growing list of serious issues that have left many owners disillusioned and frustrated. The most common and troubling complaints revolve around the transmission. Owners of recent Ford Ranger models have reported everything from slipping gears to harsh or delayed shifting. In some cases, the truck refuses to engage gears altogether, leaving drivers stranded or jolted between stops. What's worse, these problems often occur early in the truck's life, sometimes within the first 20,000 miles. The culprit: faulty torque converters, poor programming, and even manufacturing inconsistencies. Add in transmission fluid leaks, and it becomes clear that this critical system is more of a liability than a strength. Unfortunately, the engine bay offers little relief. Many Rangers are powered by turbocharged engines, a selling point meant to provide efficiency and power. But reality tells a different story. Reports of oil pump failures have surfaced, with some leading to catastrophic engine damage when lubrication suddenly disappears. Turbochargers, too, have been problematic. Owners have cited sudden power loss, whistling noises, and full turbo failure. When you combine oil starvation with boosted pressure components, disaster is only a matter of time. Reliability scores for the Ford Ranger have taken a serious hit because of these powertrain concerns. In fact, major consumer surveys and publications have ranked it near the bottom of its class for dependability. These are not isolated cases. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and other automotive bodies have logged multiple recalls related to transmission, brakes, and electrical systems. For buyers looking for a worry-free ownership experience, that is a major red flag. The problems are not limited to what is under the hood. Build quality in the cabin has also come under fire. Many owners describe the interior as noisy and rattly, with cheap-feeling materials that do not hold up to daily wear. Some have reported persistent squeaks and clunks from the dashboard and doors, making long drives irritating rather than enjoyable. In this price segment, customers expect a solid, well-finished cabin, not one that sounds like it is falling apart. Perhaps the most damaging consequence of all is the erosion of trust from Ford's once loyal fanbase. The Ranger was supposed to be the comeback kid, the reintroduction of a beloved nameplate that would win back mid-sized truck buyers. Instead, many have turned away, disappointed by quality issues that betray Ford's promises. And last but not least, Toyota Tundra. When Toyota announced a fully redesigned Tundra equipped with a twin turbocharged V6 hybrid engine, expectations were sky high. But those early turbo hybrid models have proven to be far less bulletproof than promised. Let's start with the powertrain. Toyota's new iForce Max hybrid system was supposed to deliver the perfect blend of muscle and mileage. On paper, it does, with up to 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. But in real-world use, the system has been plagued with teething issues. Owners have reported a wide range of problems, including erratic throttle response, stalling at low speeds, and abrupt shifts from the 10-speed automatic transmission. That level of inconsistency is a serious letdown, especially from a brand known for smooth, dependable drivetrains. What makes things worse is the system's complexity. Combining turbocharging, electric motors, and battery management adds layers of potential failure points. And unfortunately, several have already started showing up. Reports of check engine lights appearing just weeks into ownership have grown more common. Diagnoses often reveal faults in the hybrid battery cooling system, fuel delivery components, or even electrical control modules, parts that are difficult and expensive to replace. Beyond the engine, early models of the new Toyota Tundra have also suffered from build quality issues. Interior rattles, misaligned panels, and software bugs in the infotainment system have frustrated many new buyers. Several have noted that the large touchscreen freezes or crashes during operation, hardly what you expect from a flagship vehicle aiming to modernize the pickup experience. Then there are the recalls. Within months of its release, Toyota issued service bulletins and recalls for drivetrain calibration, electronic stability control, and suspension components. These are not minor fixes. They strike at the very systems the truck was designed to improve. For a model launched this important, that kind of recall record is disappointing, if not alarming. Even Toyota loyalists are starting to raise their eyebrows. Forums that once praised the Tundra's bulletproof V8 engine are now filled with cautious warnings about the turbo hybrid's reliability. The early adoption risk seems higher than expected, and buyers are paying the price, both emotionally and financially. So if you are eyeing an early model Tundra hybrid, thinking it is the best of all worlds, you may want to wait. because sometimes even Toyota can stumble when reaching too far too fast. From failing transmissions and underperforming engines to glitchy software and vanishing resale value, these pickups are proof that appearances can be dangerously deceiving. Think we missed a truck or had a nightmare experience with one of these? Drop a comment below. Your story might save someone from a costly mistake.